What simple piece of advice, if followed, could potentially save most people a lot of money? Possibly related to your job, experience with personal finance, budgeting, planning, day-to-day habits, etc. A cab ride is a lot cheaper than a DUI. Don't buy it right now, buy it next week. You'll probably forget about half the stuff you'd have thrown your money at in the spur of the moment. But this game on Steam is only one day on sale. Pack a lunch. Cheaper and healthier. Don't go to strip clubs. Women get naked for free if you're nice to them. Don't go to grad school unless someone else pays for it. Absolutely yes. Also, don't let your research advisor treat you like a slave. You don't get paid enough for that shit. Quit smoking. Don't use credit cards unless you know you're one of those people that will pay the bill off completely at the end of every month and want to take advantage of the rewards. For the youngins, really think about if you want to go to college. It's not for everyone. There's a lot of opportunities in the skilled trades now. If you're into one of them, college can put you into major debt, so make sure you want to make the investment beforehand. Edit. Please don't confuse not going to college with choosing not to get an education. In America, there seems to be a huge push for getting a traditional college degree. What I'm suggesting is that people consider going to trade school if traditional college doesn't interest them. There are opportunities out there for mechanics, welders, HVAC, electricians, heavy equipment operators, the list goes on. Maybe check into something like these if you find it interesting. Not everyone finds traditional colleges and universities stimulating enough. Doesn't mean it's wrong. Just weigh your options first. If you can't afford it now, you probably won't be able to afford it when the credit card statement comes. Corollary to this, if you can't make a decision between one thing or another, or whether or not you can afford it, sleep on it. 90% of the time, when I do this, I end up deciding not to get whatever it is. It's one thing to have it in your hand, or in your Amazon cart, because usually we can talk ourselves into anything. Once you disconnect yourself from the temptation, it's easier to think rationally and make the decision to hold off. Take a breath, people. It'll save you money and regret. Don't buy an $8 coffee every morning. Buy an espresso machine. Learn to use it. Problem solved. I spend less time than I would have in Starbucks. Also, where the fuck are you finding $8 beverages? Pay yourself first. When you get paid, systematically put them into savings. Decide your percentage beforehand. 10% for example, and do it every time. Treat yourself to a secure and comfortable future. I could be mistaken, but I remember reading in a similar thread that you should clear your browser cookies when buying a plane ticket online. Apparently they use cookies to keep track of how many times you check the price of that particular flight and make it more expensive, so you panic and buy it. Therefore clearing the cookies takes away that extra charge. I could just be making shit up, but I'm pretty sure I remember this. Yeah, this is true. My friend and I heard about it and tried it to see if there was any truth. He looked up a certain offer, and then a couple of hours later he looked it up again. It had gone up nearly $100. He messaged me and got me to go and look up the exact same fare, and it was the original price he had found it for in the first place on my computer. Bastards. I'm a professor. Go to community college first. You can afford to say fuck it, not for me, without being in an investment trap. You can still learn valuable critical thinking skills and learn about the social ailments of the world. In fact, from my experience, CC profs are often more active and concerned about social justice issues than higher up the ivory tower. You have access to CTE, career and technical education, programs which can set you up with great careers. And if you decide 4-year university is for you, you can do your general education requirements and transfer with ease to your local university and save a boatload of money. People don't realize when they are struggling through a 200-person physics course at a university with an absentee prof and apathetic TARS that they can drive down the road and pay a fourth of the cost to learn the same material in a class of 40 with a prof that cares. And CCs always have transferability arrangements with the nearby universities, meaning they spoon feed you this option. Edit. Holy crap, thanks for my first gold. And great comments on the potential pitfalls to this route. I'm of course speaking in general terms, and didn't go into the detail like how you should know what transfers and doesn't prior. Also, I started at a community college, before going on to liberal arts and state universities, and now I'm a professor at a CC. So I'm a little biased, but it worked for me. Buy cars in cash, and live in smaller houses. Sure, you can save $1 or $2 here or there on coffee or packing lunches, but the big money is in transportation and housing. You can save many hundreds of dollars per month buying used cars in cash, vs leasing or financing, and lowering your rent/mortgage and household utilities by buying smaller housing. Cars in cash is the key. 2 cars ago I bought an old Toyota Celica for $300, drove it for 3 years, and sold it for $500. Last car I bought a Chevy Venture for $1,300 and drove it 3.5 years. I just grabbed another minivan for $2,500 and plan to drive it off into the sunset. Some people are putting out more than $500 a month on car payments. Crazy fucks. If you use it often, and it's not perishable, buy in bulk. Especially if it's on special. I've seen guys waste money coming in week after week for a few razor blades, or 3-pack instead of a 12-pack, purely because the small pack is cheaper. No bro, work it out per blade and the 12-pack is cheaper. This works with almost 90% of goods. The little price in the corner of the price tag on the shelf is the unit price. Compare the little numbers, not the big ones. This is how I figure out what will get me drunk the cheapest. Compare price per ounce and alcohol percentage, and do some quick math. I'm a bit late to the party, but for impulse buyers like me, this is a really good tip. When you're thinking about buying something you don't necessarily need, imagine somebody offering you the thing in one hand and what it costs in cash in the other. If you would take the cash over the thing from this imaginary stranger, you probably shouldn't buy the thing. I like to think how many hours did I need to work to buy this item. So if something is $100, I would have to work a full 8-hour day plus a half an hour the next day. Then I usually put whatever item that is out of my mind, unless I need it. For any large purchase, wait a few months before buying it. Do a little research, wait for a deal, wait for the newer model to come out. I have done this for just about every fairly expensive item I have: Kindle, tablet, game consoles, phone. I got them for a decent price. All the bugginess of new models had been worked out. I could budget and set aside some money just for that purchase. By waiting, I discovered what I really needed as opposed to what I wanted. In each case, I have never regretted spending the money. Don't start budgeting in a few years. Start now. Heck, even if you're in high school and flipping burgers on the weekend, the ability to create and stick to a budget will make a massive difference to your life. Once you begin to budget your money, you'll quickly realize where you are blowing your money on stupid shit. Set a limit for the fun stuff, but also have savings, a contingency plan, and you can save up for something you really want. When you're younger, and therefore don't have to pay bills, or whatever, any paycheck you get, split it in at least half, and put half into a savings account, and the other into your normal account. This has helped me have a fairly large sum of money for someone my age just sitting there, for when I need it. Edit, just to clarify a few things, and why this still works for me. I'm living in Australia. I live at home. My parents are not super rich, but not poor either. Don't bother buying bottled water. Assuming you're in a first world country, your tap water is just fine. It's good to keep a small collection of bottled water in case of an emergency, but spending $8 on a case of water that would otherwise cost you $0.05 out of the tap every week is pretty foolish. Housing and food/eating out will eat a lot of budget if you let them. Live within your means. Don't get payday loans. Ever. Credit card interest will eat you alive if you make minimum payments, so if you must let a balance float, pay it off the next month. Get a cheap but affordable car. You don't need a $30k car. A $15k car will do if you must buy new. Appropriate tires will be cheaper than paying insurance deductibles or increased premiums if you live somewhere with weather. If you can take public transportation, you can save a lot by doing that instead of getting car in the first place. Alcohol at a bar is very expensive. Buy Cards Against Humanity and have a guest bring a bottle of rum. Save for a rainy day. even a little, every month or pay period. As a structural engineer, never hire an architect. They add so much additional cost to a building just to satisfy their artistic needs. A local drafting service will get you the same result for 1/10 of the cost. Just because something is on sale doesn't mean you should buy it. If it's not something you was going to buy anyways, just because it's discounted does not make a good deal of saving X amount. In reality, you spend Y amount on something you wouldn't have normally. It's a loss, not a saving. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.